Hi, my name is Darian Sandmartin and welcome back to my channel where we discuss all things English and IELTS. Today's video is a continuation of my top 10 tips series where I share my personal advice for tackling each of the IELTS sections. The core topic of this episode is writing, as I'm sure this is one of the most difficult modules for many of you, at least it is for me. However, after this video you will have developed a clear approach to writing that will help you score band 7 and above. Let's dive right into it. Let's start off with the first tip. Always be certain of the requirements. The writing module requires you to produce 2 write-ups in 60 minutes. The first task varies. General training candidates will have to write a letter to a person in a given setting. Academic candidates will work on a report for a visually arranged data, like in a graph or a table. However, the task 2 doesn't change. It's always a longer discussion essay where you contemplate a statement. Don't worry though, there are no right or wrong answers. Your level of the language is assessed, alongside with grammar, vocabulary, arguments, and how you structure them. You are expected to write no less than 150 words for task 1 and 250 for task 2. Building up on that, tip number 2. There is no point in trying to write 100 more words than the lower limit. It's perfect when you write in the range between 150 and 200 for task 1 and 250 and 300 for task 2 respectively. You see, having many words in an essay doesn't really translate to a high band score. There are several reasons for that. First, it's challenging to write a lot when the time is limited. If your level of English is not similar to your native language, you will naturally spend more time on thinking, structuring your arguments, coming up with relevant vocabulary, and trying to diversify grammar. Hence, the more you write, the lower the quality of writing. Frequently, students end up having a watered-down text, meaning the one containing lots of meaningless words and phrases. They write something off-topic or repeat the same ideas many times. When you write too much, the examiner might think you are not concise and can't use straightforward language, like beating around the bush. The English don't typically use too long sentences and their thoughts are rather direct. It's considered more eloquent to express the same idea with shorter sentences filled with action words than having wordy structures that don't really convey precise meaning. Tip number 3 for the IELTS academic candidates. Your task 1 must include analytical thinking. You are not expected to simply describe what you see in a graph. Read the task attentively. It says, summarize the information by selecting and reporting main features and make comparisons where relevant. See, it never says name numbers that you see or describe the trend step by step with numbers and processes. On the contrary, you should look deeper and try to group data so that you can compare it. For example, there are always patterns in tables. You will be able to notice that some rows and columns are similar and compare them. Same with main features. Ask yourself, what stands out here? Are there any peaks and lows? Is there any regularity in data? By the way, I put together a PDF with common IELTS writing mistakes. It's completely free for my audience. To receive it, just make sure to follow me on Instagram and send the key phrase writing mistakes to my direct messages, and I'll send you back the guide. Okay, now let's switch to the general training IELTS, and tip number 4, a crucial component of your letter is the tone you choose. First of all, it really depends on the task. You will see clear guidelines as to whom you're writing. Pay extra attention to this. Are you writing to a friend, a professor, your local shop assistant, your cousin, or maybe to the police? In all of these situations, the language and tone you use is going to be very different. You might use slang or contractions when writing to your close friend with phrases like this: I haven't heard from you in ages, or what have you been up to? However, this kind of conversation will be out of place in a formal letter to a new professor, for example. Okay, moving on to the second writing task, and here comes the tip number 5. A common IELTS Task 2 essay consists of 4 paragraphs. The first is an introduction, then 2 body paragraphs and a conclusion. The introduction and conclusion are rather concise when body paragraphs are longer. You might tailor this to your essay, but it's rare to see 3 or 5 paragraphs in one essay. You will usually make do with 4 to cover any topic. Also, writing more than 2 bodies with fully developed and balanced arguments will take a long time and you probably won't fit the limit. Great! Now tip number 6. The first sentence of your introduction is where you are supposed to just paraphrase the task. This is literally the easiest thing in the whole essay. However, bear in mind, it's better to avoid the same words you see in the task. Use different methods of paraphrasing, including synonyms and antonyms. However, don't limit yourself to these 2. There are many more approaches to paraphrasing. Don't know which? Well, we work on those and other writing skills in the Rocket IELTS course that I conduct online. This is a 2-month-long comprehensive IELTS training for everyone who wants to score Band 7 and above at the first attempt. We work on all 4 IELTS modules in detail with lots of theory and interactive practice. You get exhaustive and honest feedback to all your writing and speaking tasks with clear advice for improvement. Plus, we have lessons with lots of high-level vocabulary, group practice calls, and unique PDFs that I create only for this course, like checklists for making sure your essay is written at Band 7 level. What's more, the course is conducted on a modern online platform with lots of interactive practice features accessible even from your phone. If all of this sounds great to you, make sure to check out the link in the description box below. We have a new course intake starting very soon. Now, number 7. Forget all the essay types in the writing task 2. If someone told you that there are like 6, 5 or any other number of essay types, please get it out of your head. Essay types are these rigid frameworks where you are supposed to write specific things in certain paragraphs. They might be useful for people who want to score Band 5 or 6, but not above. For those who want to get Band 7+, it's important to pay attention to the structure of their arguments. Don't stuff your head up with these frameworks. There are so many different questions in writing that you just risk being very confused at the test when you see something like this. Personal information is readily available on the internet to simplify today's life. Is this a positive or a negative trend? Or, in some countries, the number of people using bike as a main means of transport is decreasing, though it has lots of advantages. Why is it so? How can people be encouraged to use bikes? Or another one, some countries have an ever-increasing proportion of the population who are aged 15 or younger. What do you think are the current and future effects of this trend for those countries? See, these topics don't fall into the usual 5 types with disadvantages, advantages, opinion, etc. Therefore, you must be prepared to elaborate on any topic whatsoever with clear argumentation and varied language. Don't limit yourself to the essay types. Your 8th tip is this. Every paragraph must start with the topic sentence. Let's say this is our essay topic. Some people are of the opinion that children should be rewarded for good behavior. Discuss advantages and disadvantages of this approach. Forget about vague sentences like, there are many advantages of rewarding children, however, there are also drawbacks that we can't close eyes at. What does this add to our knowledge? It literally doesn't add anything valuable. We already know there are pros and cons as we are writing an essay about this, right? However, many people prefer to preface their paragraphs with sentences like this. Now, if you want your paragraph to be focused on disadvantages, make sure the first sentence makes it very clear. For example, this is how we could have improved the situation. Offering rewards for behaving nicely and completing tasks around the house is a quick and easy way to spoil children. And then you elaborate on this with reasons, explanations, and examples. This is how your paragraph gets one central idea introduced by a strong topic sentence. Speaking of ideas, here comes your tip number 9. Remember, one body paragraph must have one core idea. Stop packing several random ideas into each of your paragraphs. No, you will not score higher just because you stacked up like 5 different arguments in one paragraph. On the contrary, you will not get higher than band 6 for the coherence and cohesion criteria. Why? Well, let's look at the official band descriptors. And keep in mind, this is the best source of information to use when preparing for your test because they are authentic and written by people who conduct the IELTS test. So in the band descriptors, we clearly see the line presents a clear central topic within each paragraph, respective to the band 7 and above. So for example, if your essay topic is this, personal information is readily available on the internet to simplify today's life, is this a positive or a negative trend? It will be a bad idea to include in the first body paragraph reasons like people are more prone to scammers, personal info might be sold on darknet and used by unauthorized persons, or children might fall victims to abusers who look for sensitive data they post on social media. These are all different reasons, and ideally you'll need to expand each of them with arguments and examples, which is not possible within the limits of one paragraph. Therefore, always choose one core idea and build it up. Notice, please, reasons are not the same as ideas. You might have one core idea but supported with different kinds of reasons or examples. And the last one, tip 10, find a tutor to help you with writing. Because let's face it, this is a challenging module, especially for those who currently are somewhere at the B1 level or in general, regardless of your English level. It's crucial to receive honest and straightforward feedback that shows you what to improve and how exactly to do it. For example, if you have a limited time and need to get your head around all these requirements and hone your writing skills, then it's absolutely essential to work with a teacher who will explain the approach, how to come up with arguments, arrange ideas in paragraphs, and think analytically, who will show you grammar mistakes and vocabulary inconsistencies that you might have. Otherwise, you risk wasting weeks and months on trying to figure it out on your own. And remember, it's totally okay to pay for the expert help you are getting because of the time and expertise they are given to you. You can also find this support and step-by-step lessons on writing in my Rocket IELTS course, for example. Okay, we've learned a lot about the writing module. In fact, this is only the beginning. There is so much more to it. Don't forget to get the writing mistakes guide I've just put together for you. Just follow me on Instagram and DM me the key phrase. Thank you so much for spending your time productively with me today, and I'll see you in my next videos. Bye!